St. Louis is in the midst of a 90-day pilot program using state troopers to police highways that fall within the city limits in high crime areas. The move is part of a nationwide trend that has created tensions among city officials and residents who see the move as over-policing and leading to racial profiling. Republican Governor Eric Greitens ordered the move last month after a surge of violent crimes in the city. Just before the troopers were dispatched, the governor held a rally. His critics say Greitens is vilifying a city whose residents are 50% black with a poverty rate of 25%.
People of the state of Missouri are counting on you guys to get this right. This is really important. You're going to be going out onto some of highways in what is right now the most dangerous city in the United States of America.
Now, St. Louis has seen over 110 homicides in 2017 in what is expected to become one of the deadliest years in decades. In the first 2 weeks, troopers issued more than 900 traffic tickets and arrested 220 people. At least 8 states are doing similar programs with their state troopers in high crime areas in order to free up police to focus on violent crime. All of them have Republican governors. The tactic was used in the 60s through the 90s, but stopped when homicide rates dropped. Joining us from St. Louis is State Representative Michael Butler, the Democratic Caucus Chair. Michael, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So, Michael, we are now revisiting the third-year anniversary of the death of Michael Brown in Ferguson. To wake up to news about state troopers in St. Louis. What do you think about this?
This is outrageous. So one of the biggest responses from the Department of Justice after Ferguson arrest and after the murder of Michael Brown was that African-American citizens were being hounded by police in one major portion of interactions, which was traffic stops. In Missouri as well, we have the Missouri Human Rights Act, which requires the Attorney General to produce a report every year of the disparity in traffic stops per race. And African Americans, as you can imagine, always are stopped at a higher rate than their white counterparts. And just recently, 3 weeks before the governor announces, a Republican Attorney General released his report that showed the same. So it is preposterous to me that Republican governors across the country are using the same tactics that our federal government has said lead to instances like a Michael Brown shooting and lead to more African Americans in situations that distrust police.
Yeah, Michael, as a matter of fact, I'm going to just read something that I was going to read something that Attorney Scott Bolden gave me, but basically this Republican governor issued a report that said that African Americans are 75% more likely than others to be stopped, pulled over, et cetera, in St. Louis. So we are seeing, you know, whether it is intentional or not, something that's causing like a overwhelmingly negative impact on the African American community. Are we seeing any results from this?
So no, we're absolutely not, and I'm going to go far as say it's intentional. Now, you mentioned in one of your commercial breaks that there were 2 high crime highways that are being patrolled in this pilot program. The truth is, the correct word for those highways are black use highways. There are 4 highways that run through the city of St. Louis. The 2 that are mostly used by mostly white county residents are not being patrolled at all by state troopers. Highway 70 and Highway 55, which go through mostly black neighborhoods, are the ones that the state troopers are patrolling. So we are perpetuating here in Missouri the Human Rights Act report, that disparity report here with what is deemed as high crime, but really what it means is they're trying to catch black people.
Michael, stay with me. I'm going to turn to the panel, but please stay with us. I've got Scott Bolden with me, Barbara Onwine, Raynard Jackson, and Amber Phillips. Barbara, I want to talk to you because we've worked on some stuff in the past. So first we see the advent of the Show Me Your Papers immigration laws all over the country, which I know you and I believe that this gives the police through state law the ability to engage in racial profiling. Show me your papers, prove you're an American citizen.
Right.
I can pull you over just because I want to.
Right.
Now we've got state troopers in St. Louis under Republican governors. This is probably happening in other states across the country. From a legal perspective and a civil rights perspective, what, you know, if you were going to drill down and explain to the public what the legal issues are that are involved, what would you say?
Well, there's a couple of issues. First of all, when you put state troopers into a black community, that's not service, that's occupation. Mm-hmm. And we need to be clear about that, that's an occupation, that's a semi-militarized occupation. Mm-hmm. And there's no state of emergency that really justifies such an action. So that's really inconsistent with most state law about the deployment of state troopers. So I think that's really problematic, especially when you're talking about Missouri and St. Louis.
Well, and they're just, and you know, and Michael just told us they're in the black neighborhoods, but not in white neighborhoods.
Right.
Raynard is shaking his head.
I'm from St. Louis.
I know you're from St. Louis. Do you love
and
it?
you got 55, you got
Do you love
70.
it? Would you go back there? Would you feel
Oh, heck
safe?
no. And you got 70.
Wait, did you just say heck no?
No.
Okay.
No, I go there to visit my family. but listen, number one, to where the state troopers are stationed, that's where the highest crime rates are. So
But state troopers, that's not their role.
No. St. Louis is in the emergency status with all this crime.
They have not
So
declared a
if
state of
Michael, the state rep, wants to get rid of the state police, tell black folks back home to stop committing these damn crimes.
But Raynard, let me
That's
ask
the
you.
issue.
All right, I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm actually gonna direct this question to Amber.
Yeah, no.
So,
but you put you triage. You put the troopers where the highest incidence of crime is.
Raynard, let me get in here. I'm going to direct this to Amber, and I'm going to come back to you, Scott and Michael. If they are in predominantly black neighborhoods, and you're just walking down the street doing nothing, you get pulled over, they give you a ticket. What happens if you can't pay the ticket? Do they lock you up? Do they leave you in jail? What happens? And why on earth could anyone think that this is a reasonable way
I
to run
think
your
we
government?
need to listen to the community of St. Louis, organizers who have been on the ground there, that what we know for sure is that if these places, if crime is up, the issue is not going to be solved through this short-term solution of over-policing.
Wow.
It not only puts our communities in danger, but it also puts the police in danger because they have not been properly trained to not see their own communities as dangerous. We need to infuse these communities with education, which St. Louis does not have a ton of, with things for kids to do, with healthy food, with jobs. My God, I wonder why.
Raynard, why do you disagree? Why do you disagree with what Amber said? Like, what is objectionable to what she just said? It sounds reasonable.
If you know where the highest crime spots are, you focus all your resources on there to bring that down. I wouldn't care if it was the National Guard.
No.
We need a police presence in these hot zones in St. Louis.
Pause. All right, pause. Michael, I gotta put you guys on pause. Michael, I want to give you the last word. What are your constituents saying? What do the people want?
What the people want are community solutions. And the truth is, we know how to fix crime in our neighborhoods, not the government.
So why is it so high then in St. Louis?
It really sounds good to be tough on crime, but you got to be smart on crime. And to be smart, you have to talk to people who have knowledge in their neighborhoods. And for anyone to believe that St. Louis is traveling on just two highways, and those two highways are gonna create this.
Michael, that's not true. There are 4 highways, and black folks live down every 4 of them. I know for a fact.
Is listening to the community who has and last time we dropped crime in this city was when we listened to the community and we had leadership that did that and did community programs.
Well, the community that I'm listening to said we want police presence there because my family lived there in St. Louis, so I know what I'm talking about.
They did not ask for state.
He won't even go back.
So Michael, I'm going to do you a favor. I know you're going to thank me, but I'm going to buy Raynard Jackson a plane ticket and send him to St. Louis so he can have a sit down with you and the community and figure out a way to deal with the criminal justice problem in St. Louis properly, since he told us even he does not want to go back to his hometown. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. We are out of time on this.